Hi, this is Kimberly Rash from Rooted to Rise podcast. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kim Parkinson for being such an amazing mentor and encourager in my walk with my podcast journey. We started out with a quick phone call, and she had sent me a link to fill out what my next 4 episodes would be, even if I hadn't started yet. And from there, it just kind of lit a fire underneath me to really go both feed into podcasting. And she walked with me every step of the way. So if you are thinking about it, or you need encouragement or an extra set of eyes or ears on your podcast to figure out what it needs to give it more life, I highly encourage you to reach out to Kim. I did her mentorship program, and she walked with me from beginning to end, day and night, hour after hour. She was so wonderful. Thanks, Kim.
Most coaches help women figure out what they want. My guest today goes deeper than that. She can actually feel what's blocking you. Sophie Watson is an award-winning intuitive guide and transformation coach who works with women after a major life shift: divorce, empty nest, career change, loss, the moments that turn everything upside down. And because Sophie is a true empath, she physically feels her clients' emotions, their energetic blocks, and even their physical pain. That means that she gets to the root of what's really going on faster than most. Sophie, welcome to Podcasting for Your Spiritual Business. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you for having me, Kim. I'm excited about this talk.
Yes. Now, I did introduce yourself. Well, I introduced you, but could you introduce yourself if there's anything else that you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, so I'm Sophie Watson. I call myself a soul coach because it is about getting to the root of what's really going on with someone and helping them really understand who they truly are as a soul and what is actually in alignment for them, not what everybody else says or society says you should or shouldn't be. It's about helping that person to really understand themselves, understand what maybe blocking them, what's happened in the past, bringing that all up and clearing that easily rather than really going back to that point in time and reliving it. And I communicate with spirit. So it's like spirit will give me ages as to when specific things happened. They will give me new techniques to use with clients. So there's a real combination of different stuff going on when I'm working with my clients.
Oh, that is beautiful. Beautiful. I would love to start with the empath piece. Are you comfortable with that? Perfect.
Yeah,
okay. So I think the listeners are going to be really curious about this. What does it feel like in a session when you're picking up on a client's energy or their pain or their stickiness? What does that feel like to you?
So for me, what tends to happen is, so if it's their pain, I tend to feel an area on my body. So it might be, I'll give you an example of one of my clients. I suddenly started getting a sharp pain in my left shoulder, and I've been working with her for quite a while. And then this one day I'm like, okay, why am I feeling this? What's this sharp pain I'm getting in my shoulder? And she said, I've actually had pain in my left shoulder for 15 years.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
I'm like, okay, so I'm feeling it now. So obviously you're ready to deal with that, to release that. She says, I don't really feel it anymore because I've just grown to live with it.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, okay, right. So I'm feeling this left pain. And when I started focusing on it, it was like she'd been stabbed in the back. I said, okay, so what was going on 15 years ago? Why am I feeling as though you were stabbed in the back? She said, that's when I divorced my husband.
Oh.
Right. She's going, oh, wow, I've had that pain since I divorced him. So I'm like, right, okay, this is definitely connected to him. That's connected to that whole situation. We need to deal with this. We need to clear this energy. And that's what we did. So we started working on it. We did healing around it. We did releasing of what may be still stuck there. And her pain went. Completely went. However, what she does now is that she's asked her guides to basically if there's something that she's not paying attention to, if there's something that she's ignoring, that they give her a little nudge in that area.
Mhm.
So bring a little bit of pain back, maybe, just so that she knows she's got to work on something.
Nice. A little intuitive hit from the spirits from the
Yeah.
other side. Oh, I like
Yeah.
that.
So
Yeah.
that's what it feels like when there's pain. When there's an energetic block, obviously you can't necessarily see them. You can't always feel that. But what happens with me is the most common one is what we're not saying to others.
Mm.
And so when there's things that we're not saying to others, my throat will go really scratchy. I might start coughing. Yeah. So it feels uncomfortable for me. So I can say to my clients, okay, who are you not saying what you really need to say to them? Who comes to mind? And so then we can start working on that. And I've got a series of techniques I can take them through in order to really start clearing that. And they can use those tools and techniques moving forward. So they don't have to keep coming back to me. They've always got them.
I love it.
If they, another one is a heaviness in the chest, is what I get. When I feel that, that's all about how they feel about themselves. That's the self love, the self worth, all of that. And another client that I was working with, we'd literally just started working together. We were like into our second session, and she got on the call with me. And as soon as she got on the call, I immediately felt this heaviness. And I'm like, okay, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this heaviness? And I said, it's all about how you feel about yourself. And she went, Sophie, I wasn't going to tell you, but I've just found out my husband's been having an affair.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, right. We need to deal with this. We need to get you in a really good space so that you can deal with this situation in the right way.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. We cleared that energy. We got her into a really good space so that she can have those conversations with her husband. And they are actually still together now.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but it's because I feel it's very much because we did that work as soon as it came up.
Yeah.
So she's no longer holding on to all of that.
Do you do anything beforehand to prep for a call like that? Because I imagine, in something like that, maybe sometimes you might be blindsided and be like, "Whoa, where did this come from?" And maybe you might even feel like something's wrong with you. I imagine if there's a tightness in your chest, you
Oh,
might be like, "Am I having a heart attack? What's going on?"
but sometimes what does happen is like on a build up to like on the day of a session, I have been known to get headaches.
Okay.
And I've said to my clients that I've got a headache. They've go, oh, well, I've got a headache. I'm like, okay, is this your headache then that I'm already picking up on? And a lot of the time it is.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that's going on with them. Sometimes I have been known to dress in exactly the same colors as my clients as well. So I'm already picking up on the energy before they arrive. However, what I do just before I sit down to work with them is I always open up in a Native American Indian prayer, so that
Mhm.
I'm asking that we're being protected from any negative energies, that my energy is going to be protected as well, and that person then gets whatever healing or guidance it is that they need for that day.
I love that. Yeah.
So it's like I'm always asking that they're going to get what they need, but make sure that we are protected and that I'm especially am protected from whatever else is coming in. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually really important to make sure that you have that. Now, do you yourself, do you do any type of sage clearing or anything like that before or after?
yeah, so afterwards, I've got a little ritual that I go through afterwards as well. So it's literally I'm cutting the cords to them. I don't always get the sage out unless I really feel that I need to.
Yeah.
I did have one woman who came for a session. This was back in the days when, because everything that I do now is on Zoom, but I used to have my clients come to me or they could do video calls. But this one woman came to me and she literally, I was working, first time I'm working with her, I had my hands on their shoulders and then I'm feeling this energy and I'm like, this is not good. This needs to go. And I actually had a friend of mine staying with me at the time. She was way off in another room. And it literally was like this entity was attached to this woman, and I managed to clear it. And this woman leaves and she's going, I feel so much lighter now. And she goes off all happy. So I've gone running into my friend and I've gone, we need to clear this house now. And she said, Sophie, what was going on? She said, I suddenly felt real anxiety coming up. She said, I had to sit and I had to do a meditation. I was like, yeah, there was some sort of energy that needed clearing. So we literally got the sage out. I went around the entire house, opened up all the doors and windows. And then when that happened, I said, right, we need to lift the energy in here now. And so we put Groovers in the Heart on by
I love it.
and we're both dancing around the house, lifting the energy so that we've no longer got that real heaviness going on. But that woman felt, she messaged me afterwards and she felt totally different. She suddenly had like an ex-boyfriend message her, the one that she always wanted to be with. And it was like, this is mad. It's like, it's just because she was holding on to that, whatever that dark energy was that was with her.
Yeah.
It just had to go. So, yeah.
Yeah. That brings me up to, so for an empath, your friend obviously felt it in the other room. Do you think that we all, because I feel like I'm an empath as well, not maybe as strong as you, for sure, right? But I intuitively get these hits of different things. Do you think everybody has that if they're paying attention and listening? Can we all be an empath?
We all can pick up on stuff. So look, I'll give you an example. And when anybody asks me, well, what is it that you're feeling? And I'm like, okay, this is my example for you. You know, when you walk into a room and maybe there's two people in that room, you haven't heard the conversation beforehand, but you know that they have had an argument. You can just feel that energy. That's it.
Yeah.
But I'm really tuned into it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know exactly that energy. I can feel that right now just coming, not even from you, but just I can, memory of that energy.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah. And I bet majority of people listening to this podcast have felt that way at some point as well. Or it's like, it can be, so for me, the people don't even need to be around anymore. I went to a tour of a castle and I went and stepped into this one room. And I immediately went, I can't be in this room. Came out. I didn't look to see what was in the room. I didn't look to see what was written on the walls. Nothing. Yeah. Anyway, it turned out that room was where they used to hold the prisoners the night before they were due to be executed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like that energy stays. Energy doesn't die.
Of course.
But it just depends on how you how sensitive you are to it, how tuned in you are, and how clear your mind is at the end of the day.
Yeah, sure. I can see that. Absolutely. When you're helping your clients and maybe they're looking completely fine, but there's something underneath that is bothering them. How do you get them to speak their truth? Because this is a podcast about podcasting, and we always are talking about how we can speak our truth. Do you have any advice on how we can speak our truth when maybe we feel sticky about it? Maybe we feel it being tough. Yeah.
So, I mean, the best thing to do is to literally go in, just go still, get quiet, and maybe ask yourself some questions. So it could be, what am I thinking about this situation right now? And maybe just journal about it, maybe write stuff down, and then really question what you're writing.
Yeah.
And just keep going deeper into it and just asking those questions. Well, why am I feeling this way? And if you can't maybe get to the actual root of why you're feeling that way, then that's the time to seek help from somebody else. But just acknowledging that there's something there, that there's something going on that you know is holding you back in some sort of way, that's the first step.
Yeah.
I was just saying, you don't have to have all the answers right away.
Yeah. No, that's very true. And I often find that when I have a conversation with a client or even with somebody like yourself in an interview here, something else will happen. The universe will drop like another little nugget and it'll be like, hey, you need to pay attention to that. And
Yeah.
it's usually, for me anyway, it's usually the third ding that I get. And I'm like, okay, I hear you. I'm going to pay attention. And a lot of times that is what other people need to hear. So then I make an interview about it. I make a episode about it, or maybe I go online. I talk about it. So it is that universe ding, intuitive. Like you have to listen to that. You
Yeah.
have to listen, and you have to be open to it. Right? You just have to be accepting and just grasp that.
Yeah. And what you find also is the universe does tend to give you signs, and it keeps giving you signs until you I've seen loads of memes of like people's guides, my guide telling me that are giving me signs, and then look the guide looking really frustrated because we're not listening, we're not paying attention to those signs. But if something keeps coming up time and time again, it's like, well, what is this? Something that I pay a lot of attention to, and that's really weird, just as I've said that, is I pay attention to creatures, and there is a little grasshopper that's just landed on my window. So things like that I pay attention to. That's really unusual that I've got a grasshopper on my window. So I will be looking into that later on and deciphering that a bit more, but that's usually about big leaps.
Good point. Yeah. Yep. Because I'm sure it was a big leap for him to get onto your window for sure.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there was a period of time where a robin kept flying into my dad's house. So it's like, okay, what does that mean? So pay attention to things like that keep coming up, because they are messages from the universe. Yeah. But you just need to pay attention to those kind of things.
Yeah. That actually reminds me, when I got Reiki 1 certified, I was getting my attunement, and during my specific attunement, there was a crow right outside the window cawing.
Amazing.
And the crazy part is we were actually, where this attunement happened, where my class happened, we were on the ocean, like the ocean front. And so you would think a seagull, but no, this was for sure a crow. And it was just... And realistically, crows are around me all the time. So I respect, love, and I will give them as many shiny objects as they want.
I love it.
Yeah. Love it. So I too love the animal kingdom and love to connect in that way. Although I have a deep, deep fear of snakes. So we'll just go with that.
So does my mother-in-law.
Yeah, I can't. But 19 hens, 2 dogs, a cat, we have bunnies, deer, foxes, whatever. I'm
everything
good with
else,
all of it.
Apart from snakes.
Yes, exactly.
But snakes, in terms of symbolism, they're all about healing.
Yeah.
It is about they're like, it's like a cycle with a snake, because they shed their skin and then they've got the nice shiny, well, maybe you don't think so, but a nice shiny skin, new skin. New beginnings.
Yeah. That actually brings up a question. I don't know. This is totally off it's not on my sheet, anything, but because you mentioned it, do you think, going back in the day, that the physician sign was created because we already knew the snake was about healing? Or do you think the snake became about healing because of the physician sign that was created all those years ago?
The snake was already about healing.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. I can feel that for sure. But it's just interesting how, we were always like, oh no, poo poo, all of the old woo stuff, right? Yeah. That is coming back now. And listening to yourself, listening to your intuition, listening to to what's going on in your body. But back then, or when you go to the doctors nowadays, or just a regular doctor here, they don't want to talk about that. It's not, maybe more so, maybe less so now, but definitely when I was growing up, that was not a thing for sure.
The whole thing was, if you think about what's happened in history, the witches, the burning at the stake, the persecution of witches, they were just women that would be helping people to heal. Yeah. But society, because religion and people up high saw them as a threat. And so therefore anything that is considered witchcraft in any sort of way is been seen to be no, you don't go there. It's wrong. How can that possibly be right? But when you look at all of the different cultures, up until sort of religion really started taking off, they all use their intuition. They all use the herbs. They all use connect with Mother Earth, and they look at the stars, and it has always been that way.
Yeah.
But then people who wanted to be more powerful decided that it was, not good.
I just wanted to mention that I'm not that far from Salem, Massachusetts. So I live here. Yeah, I live right here, right outside of Boston. So definitely we have a rich history in that for sure. I'm actually closer to Plymouth myself, but Salem is not a very far drive for me either. So I wanted to mention that because of that came into the conversation. But interesting. Do you feel that shift coming back? Because I do. So are you feeling that too? Coming back to listening to that intuition, listening to the old ways. My husband even said, I don't want to, this is crazy. He doesn't want to use a sous vide cooker. I don't know if you know what that is, where you cook it in the water. So so basically you put meat in a bag, and then you put the bag in water, and the water basically cooks the meat, and it's what they call a sous vide. Right. He doesn't want to use the sous vide because of, the plastics and all of that. And so even yesterday he had a bruise, and I had him put some Arcana gel on his bruise, and then he had some on his hands, and he licked his finger, and he was like, oh no. And I was like, no, it's all holistic. You're fine. He's very particular about those. He doesn't want that outside stuff anymore. He doesn't want the plastics in our system. He doesn't want, chemicals. We don't use any kind of chemicals on our lawns. If we don't want weeds, we spray it with vinegar, water, just that type of thing. I love that. Yeah. Right. So what are your feelings on the whole shifting back? Is this going to take a while, or is this here?
We are in it now. It's still going to take a little while, but it's literally, we are now in the age of Aquarius.
I love that. Yeah.
And it is that shift from the very masculine way of being to now going more into the feminine again. And this is I've seen it with clients. It's people are becoming more, I don't know, well, definitely over here, are becoming more open to having the conversations about, well, let's say woo. Just about spirit, about the things that are deemed as not normal, to the unseen. But they are, so I can see it happening. I see people all the time going, okay, I'm not sure about this, and I will have my clients always say to me, Sophie, I can talk to you about this because you're not going to think I'm weird.
Love that. Yeah. Yeah. That must be so reassuring for you in your practice, because that's open communication, right? That is them sharing with you, you sharing with them, and having that open throat chakra to be able to say whatever it is that needs to be said. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, I know the unknown is scary.
Of course.
But it's when you start talking about it, you'll find that there's more and more people who are actually having similar experiences, have been going through the same thing, or they've had a slightly different experience to you. But it's the more that we talk about it, the less woo it really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And I can personally feel the shift, even though when I look back at my life as a youngster, I can see that it was happening well back then too. You can start to connect those dots and see where those all came from. So
definitely.
Yeah. Now you mentioned over here, I wanted to kind of explore that just a smidgen if we could before you go. Over here is where?
Okay.
And
So
then I have to know, how far away from London are you?
I am about an hour from London.
So how far away from Stonehenge are you?
So I'm probably about 50 minutes. I'm a little bit closer to Stonehenge than I am London.
And I imagine, have you been? I
Oh, of
imagine.
course. Of
Yeah.
course. And there is actually a road that drives straight past Stonehenge. So a number of times I've been along that road and I'm like, hi, Stones.
I know. We went a couple years ago. I saw the stones. I cried. It was just a magical experience. And yes, I did see that road as well. I was like, look at that
Yeah.
road.
And that road also goes down to Glastonbury.
Oh, yes. Yes, I didn't get to the Abbey. Yeah.
But Glastonbury has a lot of crystal shops and a lot of witchy shops and it's very new age there. So yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
just
missed out.
amazing.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
coming back then. I'm going back. That's it.
Let me know when
Making
you're
a
going.
plane
I'll
ticket.
come with you.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, last little question I just want to ask, and this is maybe a little bit more personal. So, have you been through some of these major life pivots that have inspired you to help these women? How did this come about for you? Yeah.
So I'd always been interested in the unseen ever since I was small. And I feel that I know my mum used to go and see clairvoyants, mediums. She used to go and have readings. And I have a feeling that she was told I'd end up doing this work because when I was about 15, she came home and she'd bought me tarot cards and crystals.
I
Now,
love it.
she never bought my sister anything like that. So I just have this feeling that she was told. Anyway, fast forward, I was mucking about with my friends doing the tarot cards, and then left school, went to college, then got a job, and that it got put to one side basically until I became a photographer, and I was a portrait photographer, and I absolutely loved my job, but it took over my life. I was doing evenings, weekends, bank holidays. It just got too much. And in the back of my head, I just kept getting, I needed to go and have a reading done. And I'd handed in my notice at this point, had nothing to go to. I went, right, okay. So my colleague had given me a number for this woman. So I booked an appointment with her, went along, and everything that she was saying was absolutely spot on. She was bringing through my granddad, my uncle, and it was down to like details that there was no way she could possibly know. And this was before the days of social media. So there was not, she couldn't know anything about me. All she had was my name and my phone number. That was it. So we have this conversation, and then she says, you could be doing what I'm doing. I was like, okay, well, how? And she said, well, I'd have you sit in my spiritual development group, but you live too far away. And I was like, I don't mind traveling. That's absolutely fine. And she's like, no, you need to find your own group. So I kept that in the back of my mind. We continued the conversation. And then she mentioned Reiki. Now, she didn't say that I should learn it, but she mentioned it. I'd never heard of it at this point. So I'm sitting there thinking, what the hell is this woman talking about? What's this Reiki thing? So when I left, I looked up Reiki. I was like, oh my God, people can do that. That's amazing. I want to learn. And literally 2 weeks later, there's a psychic fair on down the road from where I was living. So I went along, walked in, and there's a woman advertising that she taught Reiki. So
Love it.
had a conversation with her, signed up for her weekend course, went along, and there was only me and one other woman on the course for the whole weekend. So she got her friend along for us to practice on. And so I practiced on him, worked on him. When I finished, he sat up and he said, all I'm getting is the future's bright. I was like, that's a really weird thing to say, but I like this. And it turned out he ran a spiritual development group.
Ah,
So it was like, as soon as I said, yes, I want to go down this pathway, all the right teachers suddenly appeared in front of me.
yes.
So in the meantime, I get a job as a pharmacy technician. Absolutely hated the job, couldn't stand it, but I ended up being there 7 years. And what it allowed me to do in those 7 years was to develop my skills connecting with spirit, to do all my levels of Reiki. And then I was getting interested in other healing modalities. Well, in 2012, my whole world fell apart. So we were living in a property where nothing had been done to it since 1970. So we were living in it and renovating it at the same time. My mum, who was 56 at the time, was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, and then 3 months later, breast cancer.
Oh,
Obviously, I'm in a job that I hate, and my husband and I were diagnosed with unexplained infertility, all at the same time.
oh my.
So we had all of that going on at once, and I thought I was coping, but actually in reality, I wasn't at all. And it all came to a head. I was actually doing stuff that was totally out of character. So it came to a head and I went, right, okay, got to take a step back here. What do I have control over? And obviously it was my job. So I went, okay, what do I want to do instead? Well, I love doing the healing work. That's what I want to do. So I made the decision there and then that I would start my own business doing the healing work. I'd do that in between working at the pharmacy for now. So I started speaking to the customers that were coming in, because obviously they're coming in to collect their prescriptions each week. I was getting to know them really well, and I was able to have those conversations with them and say, have you thought about having healing? And I would then go around to their houses after work and do healing on them.
Yes.
So it then got to a point where I'm like, well, I can't build a business while I'm working here full time. How's that going to work? So then I'm posting. By this time, Facebook has arrived, and I'm posting on Facebook in local groups, advertising that I'm offering healing. And this woman contacted me and she said, Sophie, there is a free marketing workshop happening down the road from you. Would you like to come along? I can put you on the list. I said, yes, that'd be great. Thank you. So I've gone along to this marketing workshop and ended up signing up for their weekend seminar. I had in my head that as soon as I had attended that seminar, I would hand my notice in at work because I needed to knuckle down and learn how to market my business. So fast forward a bit, because there's like a couple of months in between, and we get to the week before the seminar, and I get into a massive argument with my boss. And I'm like, I wasn't going to do this just yet, but as of the 1st of January, I will no longer be working here. So he's stammered a little bit because he wasn't expecting me to do that. So the seminar then comes, I go along, and I'm like, right, I've got to really learn how to market my business. I ended up signing up to work with those coaches. And so from the 1st of January 2014, I started running my business full time. And that first year I did so well that those coaches asked me to join their team and start coaching their clients.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So it's like every step of the way, I knew that it was in total alignment for me because it was easy. The right teachers just kept appearing in front of me at every stage.
Yeah. Yeah. You called it in too. Like you knew, and they just started arriving. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. So I have to ask, since your mother was really good into going to the tarot, the clairvoyance, all of that.
Yeah.
She knew, like, first of all, that's amazing, right? I feel like I'm that kind of mom. Like I'm the one going to the tarot readings now and all of that. But so really progressive for that to that day and age. But what does your sister do? I know this is totally off topic. Does she have any empath abilities or anything like that you can see?
She's definitely not an empath.
Okay.
She is complete opposite to me.
Interesting. Okay. Same family, totally different. Okay. Yeah.
Although I know that she can pick up on stuff.
Yeah.
But absolutely not. We are like chalk and cheese. We are completely different ends of the spectrum.
Interesting for a family with the mom that was so progressive in her day to be doing those things, both children, opposite ends there. Yeah, I love it. You know what? That I was going to say I love it, but that's not actually what I want to really say. What I want to say is it just goes to show you that you can still have that same parent and still have those different pivots in life. Yeah.
So I have completely questioned if my sister and I didn't look alike. Honestly, I wouldn't believe that she was my sister.
Okay.
We are that different, to the extent where when I first met my husband, he wouldn't even speak to my sister because he did not like her.
Okay.
So it's like,
yeah. So different. Yeah. So same parents, same, but yeah, we can just be different people with all of that. And I imagine that must be, that's definitely her design, by design, astrology, numerology, human, all those. That's just her design. She's totally.
I think it's a lot to do with past life stuff. There's a lot of like her experiences, but how she's chosen to deal with them and respond to them. It's, yeah.
I can understand how that can happen as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have any clients that are similar to that, where you have to kind of pull them through the veil there, or are they already kind of open to this when they walk into your place?
So they're not necessarily completely open to everything at that point. They do tend to be sort of like at the beginning stages. So they may have done some work on that, like had therapy or counseling, but they've got this understanding that actually that's got them so far. But now what? It's like, now what do I do? Where do I go? And so when they come to me, it's usually because they want that deeper understanding of themselves. They don't necessarily know what it is they want for themselves moving forward. But if I can help them understand themselves in the first place, clear anything that's they're still holding on to, then we can start looking at, well, okay, now you have this understanding. What do you want for yourself? Or what don't you want anymore? Let's look at that so that we can get an understanding of what you do want. And so it's just helping them, it's guiding them every step of the way so that they can let go of the past and then create something amazing for themselves moving forward.
Beautifully said. Beautiful. So if any of my listeners are interested in finding out more about you and your offers, where can they find you? How can they get to hold of you?
Oh, they can find me on at my website, which is sophiewatson.co.uk. They can also follow me on Facebook. So I'm Sophie Watson. I'm the soul coach. So I've got a couple of pages on Facebook, actually. So it's Sophie Watson, like my profile, professional profile. And then I've got my business profile as well, which again is Sophie Watson, Create a Life You Love. You can find me on Instagram, Sophie Watson Soul Coach. And I'm on LinkedIn as well, although that's mainly aimed towards one of my other businesses.
Gotcha. Nope. Yeah, you do several things too. Yeah. So, and one of you're everywhere. If you had any last minute advice or any sage wisdom that you would like to bring and impart on the listeners today, anything you can think of?
Yeah, it's just pay attention to what's going on within you.
Yeah.
It's like your body knows that something needs to shift. You know that something needs to shift in the back of your mind. It's like, just acknowledge it. That's the first step. And then as soon as you acknowledge it, the right person, the right teacher, the right coach, the right mentor may just suddenly appear in front of you.
You're living proof, ma'am. You are living proof. Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for being on today, Sophie. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
You're doing such amazing work helping people find that inner peace. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate you coming on today. So thank you
so much.
All right, listeners, this is Kim Parkinson with your podcasting for your spiritual business. And remember, where your voice flows, your business grows. See you next week. Thank you so much for being here and spending this time with me today. If you're ready to deepen your visibility and grow your podcast in a way that feels aligned, come join my email list at kpcreativemedia.com/newsletter, where I share exclusive guidance, support, and next steps. And if this episode resonated, I'd be so honored if you left a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the most powerful ways to support the show and help other spiritual women discover it. Until next time, keep showing up and sharing your voice.